기. 아, 내가 저번에 뭐까지 했지? 얘 카렐라크 심장 찾으려다가 안 돼가지고 싹싹 돌았구나. 맞아 맞아.
May the darkness protect you.
아까 왜 그렇게 고통스러워한 거지?
The wound on my hand. It never quite heals. And sometimes it causes terrible pain to rip through me. It's my burden, though, from Lady Shah. I can feel her influence somehow.
샤가 왜 너에게 그런 짐을 주었지?
I cannot say. Not with what I can recall. But even then, it would not be for me to question her will. Lady Shah has her reasons.
내가 도와줄 방법이 있을까?
I don't think so, but you're sweet to ask. Maybe just be patient the next time you see me wince or cry out. It'll pass quickly enough. It always does. Pain is sacred to followers of Lady Shah. Pain will give way to loss and then to the peace of her eternal darkness. You can tolerate a great deal of suffering so long as it has meaning.
왜 고통스러워지는 거지?
It's difficult to say. Sometimes I wonder if it's supposed to be guiding me, punishing me, testing me. But perhaps it's none of those. Perhaps it's completely random. I'd like to hope there's more to it than that. Some meaning that Lady Shah will reveal to me when the time is right. Until then, all I can do is endure.
오케이. 그러면 아는 게 그게 다가 아니었다는 얘기고. 나중에는 좀 더 솔직한 얘기를 해주기를 기대하지.
I'll try my best. But secrecy is ingrained in me. Lady Shah considers it greater protection than any
Lady Shah?
shield or armor.
오케이. 이건 아닌 것 같은데. 유물 나한테 없잖아. 그래도 해볼까? 그 챕터 2 넘어가기 전에 다 얘네 스토리 다 봐야겠다. 이상한 일이 일어났어. 네가 갖고 있던 유물이 방금 나에게 온 것 같았어.
I know. I felt it.
돌려받고 싶을 것 같은데.
Might not be possible. It's stubborn that way. Prone to lashing out. Keep it for now. We can all help to protect it. But make no mistake. When the time comes, when we're cured, the artifact leaves with me.
이제 내 것이 된 것 같네.
The other way around, more like. The artifact goes with whom it wishes, and lashes out at anyone who tries to take it. Keep it for now. We can all help to protect it. But make no mistake. When the time comes, when we're cured, the artifact leaves with me.
우리에게 일어난 모든 일에 대해 얘기하고 싶은데 이상한 일이 참 많았지. 눈깔이 됐거나 고블린을 잡거나.
Fine. What's on your mind?
드루이드 숲에서 있었던 일에 대해 어떻게 생각해?
I suppose some would commend our actions. Goblins would have razed that whole place to nothing if it weren't for us. No excuse to rest on our laurels, though. We've still got our own problems to contend with.
Alright. 이제 날 계속 지켜보니까 어때? 믿을만 하지 않나?
How are you holding up? Don't be so modest. I can't remember the last time I met someone like you. Perhaps I never did. And never will again.
우리에게 생긴 일이 일리시드의 흰 말인데 어떻게 생각하지?
On one hand, they seem useful. But on the other hand, or perhaps tentacle before long, we know where they're coming from. And what lies at the end of that path. I never expected Ceramorphosis to be tempting. I think we should resist these powers. There's simply too many unknowns for us to risk it.
이렇게 상황이 불리한데 정말 이점이 될 수 있는 걸 무시해야 할까? 쉣, 좀 센데? 아,
I see it as more a case of wisely avoiding a potential threat. My mind is set.
Lady of Sorrows, guide us. Did you want something? Fine. What's on your mind?
Does it even need to be asked? We're beyond me merely liking you. I think I'm a different person, owing to you.
너에 대해 더 알고 싶어, 섀도우 하트.
You already know my biggest secrets. What more can you ask?
어떤 점 때문에 샤 숭배에 이끌렸지?
She took me in when no one else would. Without her, I wouldn't be alive. She's my mother. She nurtures me, cares for me, loves me. Don't believe the lies the Selûnites tell.
그건 됐고 너에 대해 더 알려줘.
What? Besides my life's calling and the greatest problem I've ever faced? Well, I like night orchids and can't swim. Is that the sort of thing you meant?
밤엔 안 쳐? 그래, 바로 그런 거야 말이야. 더 해주고 싶은 얘기는 없나?
No, I can't. Quite literally, I mean. With my memories suppressed, I can't betray Shah's secrets. But I can't remember much of myself either. If I manage to return to Baldur's Gate and fulfill Shah's mission, then my memories will be restored.
기억을 봉인했다고? 그거는 좀 심한데.
Of course. It is an act of faith, not to be undertaken lightly. Shah will reward me when I succeed.
거의 광신도급인데. Alright, okay.
Need something?
네가 어떤 삶을 살아왔는지 알고 싶다. 파티로서 말이야.
Why do you insist on exhuming the past? I was a slave. A vampire spawn. Kept by the Tsar family. Perhaps I still am. I was never able to resist their commands. But now, I've been conveniently lost. They won't ever control me again.
이건 잡았잖아. 그럼 괴물의 사냥꾼이 날 뒤쫓는 셈이거든.
Not anymore. Which is all that matters, really.
그런데 왜 널 쫓는 거지? 무슨 짓을 한 거야?
I didn't do anything. I was kidnapped, just like you. It seems Cazador wants me back.
대체 그 카사도어란 게 대체 누구야?
Cazador Tsar is a vampire lord in Baldur's Gate, the patriarch of his coven and a monster obsessed with power. He turned me nearly 200 years ago. I became his spawn, and he became my tormentor.
카사도어가 배후에 있는 게 확실한가?
It was him, I'm sure. Only he would know to send the Gur after me. It was a group of Gur that attacked me that night in Baldur's Gate. I would have died had Cazador not appeared and saved me.
아, 그 살려준 방식이 뱀파이어 노예로 만드는 거였고.
Well, he didn't mention the slave clause at the time. And now he sends a Gur monster hunter for me. It's a message. He's reminding me of his power. Even in the middle of nowhere, he can reach me. And he wants me back.
근데 왜 붙잡으려고 하는 거지? 그냥 죽이지 않고.
Maybe he wants to make an example of me, to show what happens to runaways. Or maybe he thinks death is too good for me.
뭐 너랑 있으면 안전한.
Safe? You think I'm safe? Do you know the power a vampire lord possesses? He can change shape, turn into mist, call walls to do his bidding, shrug off blows like they're nothing. He could walk into our camp tonight and kill you with his bare hands. And you'd be lucky if death was the worst thing that happened to you.
뭐 뱀파이어는 무적이 아니야. 잡을 수 있지.
You don't understand. You don't know him. Just trust me when I say we need to be careful. He'll send more lackeys. He has plenty of souls to command. We just have to be vigilant, keep our wits about us, and kill any monster hunters on sight.
그래? 그건 그렇고 사람은 정확히 어떤 과정을 거쳐서 뱀파이어가 되는 거야?
It's simple. Just find a vampire that will drink your blood and turn you into a vampire spawn. Their obedient puppet. In theory, the next step is to drink their blood. Once you've done that, you're free. And a true vampire.
이런 성? 이런 성이란 말인가?
People think the biggest threat to a vampire is a cleric with a stake.
No.
It's not. The biggest threat to a vampire is another vampire. They're scheming, paranoid, power-hungry beasts. So why would any vampire give up control over a spawn to create a competitor? Trust me, it doesn't happen.
오케이. 그나저나 다로름 탑에는 뭐가 우리를 기다리고 있을까?
Who knows? Drow? Mind flayers? Death? Hopefully not ours. But maybe answers. If we can convince the right people to talk.
라파엘의 조건은 어떻게 생각해?
I won't lie. It's tempting. If I keep the tadpole, I risk transforming into a grotesque monster. If I lose the tadpole, Cazador has control of me, body and soul, and I return to the shadows. It's grim either way. So why not sell what's left of my soul to a devil? Better he has it than Cazador.
다른 선택지도 있어. 더 나은 선택지. 사실상 주인을 갈아타는 셈이잖아. 노예라는 사실은 변하지 않아.
You're familiar with the phrase, better the devil you know? I know Cazador. And I'll take anything that saves me from that.
그렇군.
Lady of Sorrows, guide us. Did you... Fine. What's on your mind?
Does it even need to be asked? We're beyond me merely.
똑같은 말 하네. 하하, 그렇구만. 발더스 게이트를 어쨌든 가야 되는군. 그치, 진실인지를 알 수 없지. 이게 얘네는 비밀, 구라치는 게 일상인 애들이라. 여기서 이렇게 올라가는 거구나. 이렇게 나오는구나. 오케이.
Hey, soldier.
미즈로하고 아는 사이 같던데 어떻게 아는 거야?
We were both part of Zariel's inner circle. Her by choice, me by force. In the grand scheme of things, I'm inconsequential to Zariel. Sure, I've got the engine, but I wasn't even her strongest fighter. She favored me like a child favors a captive pet. Mizora envied the attention, I suppose. I'm sure when Zariel gave her the order to hunt me down, Mizora was delighted.
미즈로가 계속 널 쫓을까?
I don't know. You'd think she'd have more important things to do. Devils and their pride.
왜 네가 그렇게 탈출하고 싶어 했는지를 알겠네.
No kidding. The fighting, the chaos, the betrayal. It had the makings of a good stage show, but I did not want to be one of the players.
벌칙의 능력에 대해서 말인데
You really did it, huh? Not worried about adding more illithid into the mix? Well, what can I say? You look fine, smell fine, seem fine. And yet, you're more mind flayer than ever. Hope you don't expect me to follow your lead in this.
전혀 아니야.
Good. And you know, keep an eye on yourself. If you start feeling loopy, shout. We don't know what these tadpoles are capable of.
How can I help?
네 행동 수칙 말인데 왜 그렇게 어려운 거야?
The instructions were easy enough, weren't they? Slightly elaborate. Like I said, I'm dangerous even in death. I'm merely trying to protect those around me. I find that a healthy amount of theatrics, a voice from the beyond, a magic flute, a friendly, if highly combustible magma method, tends to make for a more compelling case. If nothing else, I'm sure I piqued your curiosity.
네 상태에 대해 궁금한 게 있어. 왜 하필 마법이 필요한 거지?
Think of it as tribute. The kind a king might pay to a more powerful neighbor to avoid invasion. As long as I pay, there will be peace. And should I ever stop, along comes a war. I can assure you, the battlefield would extend well beyond the borders of my body alone. An eruption the size of Waterdeep, I think my exact words were.
워터딥 규모의 폭발. 네가 말했던 그 위대한 군주에 대해 궁금한 게 있어.
Ah, yes. Karsus. Karsus was perhaps the most powerful wizard that ever lived. The child who would be a god, the elves called him. And he tried. With a spell of his own devising, he endeavored to usurp in one fell swoop the power of the goddess of magic. Mistral, she was called then. Imagine what it must have felt like. To be a god. To know yourself, to be untouchable. To be mistaken. As Karsus aimed his spell at her, she began to unravel. And with her, the entire weave. Too late did he realize what he had unleashed. It would have been the end of everything had not Mistral sacrificed herself. The goddess of magic is all magic. By dying, the entire weave was lost, and the spell that challenged a god failed. It was the end of Mistral, the end of Karsus, and the end of an entire civilization. As the child who would be a god was turned to stone, his empire came crashing down around him. The floating cities of Netheril were no more. An event that came to be known as Karsus's folly.
어. 그 남자 포부 하나는 인정해야겠네. 거의 성공할 뻔했으니까.
If it takes the death of a god to stop you, I'd say your ambition has gotten somewhat out of hand. Not that I'm one to talk, of course. Now, so many centuries later, I try to follow in the footsteps of Karsus. Not to destroy Mistra, but to prove my love for her. Try to control only a fraction of the magic that was unleashed that fateful day. I merely sought to return one tiny diamond to an imperfect crown. Gale's folly, one might call it. History, repetition. It's the way things go.
네더릴 마법이 널 따라잡았다는 느낌이 들면 어떻게 할 건데?
If it should ever come to that, if I ever know I am no longer able to stop it, I will do anything I can to ensure no one but me pays for my mistakes.
사명가 보소.
I will find the remotest place on the surface of Faerun, or perhaps far below in the depths of the Underdark. I will await that death, alone. I promise I will not betray your trust. You kept me by your side despite the menace that I am. If worst comes to worst, I will be long gone before the curtain falls.
좋은 굉장한 사명감이군. 좋아. 그건 그렇고 우리 야영지에 뱀파이어가 있다는 거 어떻게 생각해?
I know what it is to hunger. And I know what it takes to keep that hunger under control. He's done that so far, despite his condition. So long as he sates his appetite elsewhere, I'm happy to give him the benefit of the doubt.
좋아.
Welcome to the League of the Lone Eye, my friend. Not to minimize the pain of Volo's poking and prodding, but I promise, you'll be used to the prosthesis in no time. Besides, I find it gives one an air of mystique. No one's more intriguing than a man with one eye.
라파엘에 대해 어떻게 생각하지?
He brings to mind a story. The Devil with the Silver Tongue. An old fairy tale my father read to me. The kind with a hero, a villain, and a moral. A farmer made a deal with the devil, so the story goes. In exchange for the farmer's dearest fruit, the devil granted him a bottomless coin purse. The farmer's dearest fruit, naturally, was no apple nor peach, but his beloved daughter. We can learn a lot from fairy tales, don't you think?
제대로 된 스승만 있으면 되겠지. 왜? 그런데 악마들을 어떻게 생각해?
Refuse him, no matter how tempting the offer, no matter how delicious the feast he lays out for you. The cost will be too great.
네가 미조로의 제안을 뿌리친 것처럼? 참, 넌 그 제안을 받아들였지.
I didn't, and I couldn't. My soul was a necessary price to pay for. You know I can't say more. But I can say this.
악마와의 계약을
I
말하면
had
안
but
되는구나.
one road I could travel. For now, you have a dozen, 100, 1,000 to choose from. A road that leads to a devil is the very last one you should follow.
악마가 된 기분은 어때?
It's said that anyone who bathes in the river of blood emerges as one born anew. It's a lot like that, I imagine. I feel the weight of these horns on my head, curling upwards like a mammoth's tusks. I feel these ridges snaking down my neck. Not to mention a few bumps and prongs in unmentionable places. But I haven't seen my reflection just yet. Be my mirror. What do you see?
그 이상도 그 이하도 아닌 변경의 검이 보여.
It's because you know the heart lurking under the horns. The people will see a curiosity, maybe even a beast hungry for their souls. But I will slay their monsters, keep them safe, and one day they will see the Blade of Frontiers again.
하지만 그 전에 기약에서 벗어나야 해.
A possibility that's kept me awake countless nights. But I don't have a clue where to start, other than play her games and play by the rules. That's the only language devils listen to.
애초에 왜 복종하는 거지? 해봐야 이미 한 짓보다 얼마나 심한 짓을 할 수 있겠어.
She could kill me for one, and that's not the worst of it. My contract is very clear. I can bring Mazora no harm. She'll have to let me out of my pact willingly. The only way out is if I can out-bargain her. We're standing here with nothing but the clothes on our backs and the worms in our heads.
다음엔 우리한테 무슨 짓을 할지 두려울 따름이군. 무슨 짓을 할지 두려울 따름이군.
I'm so sorry to give you another reason to sleep restlessly, but it's my burden to bear. She won't touch you unless there's something there for her to take. Don't give her so much as an inkling there might be.
말 다 했다리. 아 개졸리네. 아씨. 물 좀. 좀만 하다 자야겠다. 개 피곤하다. 아. 애들이 다 말 못할 비밀이 있어.
Could sustain an entire village if seeded properly. Welcome back. Have you made any new discoveries? I do enjoy a good bargain. If anything in my private collection is to your liking. Very well. Welcome back. Have you made any new discoveries?
오멜로하고 다시 이야기를 나눌 수 있을까?
Let me see if it will answer my summons a second time.
나타났구나.
Blurg, are you in need of my expertise?
Not I, but our guests. Let's indulge their curiosity.
I greet you, son child.
어떻게 근처에서 탈출한 거지?
I was born with a propensity for arcane magic my people despise. It gave me the strength to resist the elder brain. Every waking hour I pushed back against its dire hold. My wizardry empowered me. The moment its control shattered, I fled. Before the colony discovered I had defected.
어떻게 살아남은 거지? 뇌가 필요하잖아.
In the beginning, I had an arrangement with a lich. Excellent company, despite what one would expect. I required brains, he required souls. A perfect symbiosis. But our ambitions eventually splintered. I wished to better the world, and he preferred its rot. So I left his company. And thus I now feed from those who act against the society's goals.
주식인 만큼 그나마 적당한 해결책이로군.
Perhaps the peoples of the Underdark will be less inclined to violence if they comprehend the cost, yes?
오케이. 물건 좀 보여주겠나? 오씨 뭐야 정신장? 오. 아 이게 3개짜리라서 별로 안 좋을 것 같기도 하고.
May your travels be safe and swift.
깜짝이야.
I have never seen anything like it, Blur. Is my species evolving?
supper ready.
No time to dally.
No rest for the wicked, I see. I have a lot on my mind. And, well,
I greet you, son child.
Half of what they're saying. At least they're peaceful.
What? You come across a noble stock mushroom about, you give it here. Gods know I've earned it.
but my magic. Which way to the nearest library?
What's next, I wonder?
맵이 상당히 크단 말이야. 여기 다 쓸었지롱.
All right. What now?
아우 다 뒤져봤구나. 샤신전을 가볼까? 샤신전을 바꿔도 내가? 여기 안 했네? 아, 있다. 올라가서 아닌가? 아닌가? 아닌데? 여기 있다. 아우 더 만져라. 이거 도관계 어떻게 안 되나?
I'm ready. Whatever it takes.
Lost in thought. Is that blood? No, never mind.
What's next? I'll take this way.
Your desire.
This side. But I won't be able to get any closer this way.
That structure we saw from a distance in the Grimforge, something about it struck me as noteworthy. Perhaps we'll find an easier way to reach it if we keep pressing forward.
네가 그렇다면요.
I do. Remember the Dark Justiciars I told you about? I can't imagine those ruins are just a coincidence. As long as I've prayed to Lady Shah, I've wished to serve her as a Dark Justiciar. There is scarcely a greater way to fully dedicate yourself to Lady Shah, save perhaps if you become the head of her church. To become a Dark Justiciar is to become the Night Singer's sword arm, her implement with which she will cast down the unbelievers and win the final battle to restore her perfect, endless darkness. It's all I ever wanted. I prayed it was my calling. But Mother forbid me from seeking to prove myself worthy of the rank. She said I was not ready. Not my mother, I should add. The Mother Superior, head of Lady Shah's enclave in Baldur's Gate. Sometimes I wonder if she would ever deem me ready. I owe her everything, and I only wish to serve, yet she can prove
그렇구만.
inscrutable.
왜 그런 야망을 비밀로 해야 하는지 모르겠어.
Dark Justiciars are hated by many, judged to be ruthless fanatics. Even the few who would accept a follower of Lady Shah would likely balk at a Justiciar in their midst. But there's a simpler answer to your question. I simply forgot about the desire I had until I saw some things that reminded me. Now, I can't get it out of my mind.
생각을 바꿔서 암흑 심판관으로 만들어 줄 것 같아?
I don't know. Perhaps if I succeed in my mission and reach Baldur's Gate. Hope has little place amongst Lady Shah's children. It's an illusion, a distraction. For this, I hope my time will yet come.
알려줘서 고마워.
Fine. What's on your mind?
Does it even need to be asked?
May the darkness protect you. Fine. What's on your mind?
Does it even need to be asked?
오케이. 어떤 느낌인지 알겠다. 저거 양가 지상에 뭔가 있을까?
The amulet is heavy, but holds a subtle warmth, like it was left under the sun. Suddenly, the metal surges with heat. You feel great power and an overwhelming urge to laugh.
Can thou endure?
What is this? 나한테 무슨 짓을 한 거지?
The urge to laugh intensifies. Talking jewelry, that's hilarious.
Endure!
참지 못하고 웃음을 터뜨린다.
Flying machines, walking brains. It's all so absurd.
뭐야? 왜 그래? 어?
How unfortunate. Alas, thou must do. Return me, take me home, and thou shalt glow with blessings.
어디로 들어가? 누구한테로?
To thy granddaughter, Shira Clarwen. Serves Ilmata, she does. She waits in Worm's Crossing. Take me there, and thou shalt bathe in her golden gifts. Oh, thou shalt be blessed indeed.
Okay.
Beneath the rampant joy, you sense the monk's fear and sincerity. He doesn't wish to harm you, but that doesn't mean he won't.
수도사. 웜 거늘목에 있는 손녀한테 데려가 줄게.
I shall walk with thee. I shall grant you my power.
근데 당신 유령이잖아. 무슨 일이 있었지?
A ghost! I am sunlight on water, dew on grass. Sharons broke my body,
어?
but my spirit they could not. Well, not completely. Thou shalt return me home. It is written.
That thing's tainted. Better to leave it than bear a dead man's grudges.
You feel a chuckle coming on, but it soon fades.
뭐지? 대체 무슨 템일까? 예감은
Thou hast come.
The
얘는 샤
amulet is
신도잖아.
heavy, but holds a subtle. Suddenly, the metal surges with heat. You feel great power and an overwhelming flying machines.
How unfortunate. Return me. Take me home. And thou a ghost. Sharon, thou shalt return me home. It is.
나 샤 신도인데 얘 지금? 오케이.
Beneath the rampant joy, you sense the monk's fear and sincerity.
똑같네.
He doesn't wish to harm you, but that doesn't mean he won't.
와, 씨, 위험했다.
Etched on its face is an image of the dawning sun. You recognize the symbol. It belongs to those sworn to Lathander, god of dawn and renewal. Whatever madness this spirit suffers was inflicted by Lathander's enemies, followers of Shah. And this madness may flow into you.
하하.
I shall walk with thee. I shall grant you my...
You feel a chuckle.
Can't give up now.
My faith will guide me.
I shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
언덕으로 샤신전을 갈 수가 있어? 지금? 볼 건 다 본 거 같은데. 언더닥. 저 길이 있었나? 근력이 높으니까 그냥. 아, 이거 끝이구나. 어쨌든 언더다크를 가야 되네.
Teach us care when we would be reckless. Teach us certainty when we would have doubt. So it is spoken, and so is it done. Great God, Helm, allow us...
The tracks converge here. From here they went... Damn! It's all so confused.
발자국이 다루는 탑으로 이어져 있어.
The old fortress. Gods, that whole area is cursed. I'll pass it up the chain of command. Whatever good it'll do for the Grand Duke. We'll stay put for now. Might get something out of these tracks.
Care when we would be reckless. I promise my shield and my sword, Vigilant One. Let them be my courage.
What's on your mind?
Gods, look what they did to him. That could have been me.
아는 사이였나?
Barely. He was a new recruit, but he was a flaming fist. That made us better than brothers.
이 근처에 젠틀함이 숨어 있어.
Those who speak of the Zent end up unable to speak. My advice: shut up.
Law of the land.
윌릴레스? 어디서 많이 들어봤는데? 윌릴레스?
There is work to do.
No one's stopped me yet.
can't afford to stay idle. Unseen as I was taught.
결국 못 구했잖아 이거. 아. 야, 부셨구나 저거.
Whatever comes, I'm ready.
Still breathing, despite everything.
I'm ready.
Yes? All's well that ends. Not as bad as it could have.
Let's get on with it.
wits and blades, always sharp.
What's that?
밖에 뭔가 있나 보다.
Great God, Helm. Allow us peace in this plane and beyond. Teach us care when we would be reckless. Teach us certainty when we would have doubt. So it is spoken, and so is it done.
일로 가야 되는구나.
Teach us care when we would be reckless. Teach us certainty when we would have doubt. So it is spoken, and so
My
is
faith
it done.
protects me.
Great God, Helm. Allow us peace in this plane and beyond. Teach us certainty when we would have doubt. So it is spoken,
What to do?
so is it done.
What am I to do?
So that's progress.
Quite ready for you.
뭐야 이게? 아이씨. 별거 아니잖아. 씨.
I've got a long road ahead.
I applaud your taste.
Let's move.
Great God, Helm. Allow us peace in this plane and
지하관이 지상으로 가고 있었는데. 아, 자야겠다. 안 되겠다. 너무 피곤하다. 오케이. 오늘은 뭐 궁금한 거 다 물어봤으니까.
I suppose you want to hear about Cazador.
카사디오가 네 주인이었다고 했지.
My old master. Before the mind flayers took me from him. Before this strange, twisted freedom. Cazador Zar is a vampire lord in Baldur's Gate. The patriarch of his coven and a monster obsessed with power. Not political power or military power, I mean power over people. The power to control them completely. He turned me nearly 200 years ago. I became his spawn. A vampire's spawn is less than... We have no choice but to obey our master's commands. They speak, and our bodies react. It's all part of the deal. Sometimes he'd order us to submit to torture. Sometimes he'd have us torture ourselves. Whatever his weather-vane mood settled on.
듣기만 해도 참담하군. 고생이 많았겠어.
Thank you. But this isn't about sympathy. It's about knowing what we might be up against. The Mind Flayers aren't the only monsters out there. They're not even the only ones hunting us. All I'm asking is that you keep your eyes open and watch out for anything lurking in the shadows.
서로 지켜주면 될 일이지.
What more could I ask? Now is that all?
그래.
May the darkness protect you. Fine. What's on your mind? Does it even need to be asked?
What's on your mind?
언더닥. 어떻게 가지? 알죠? 그러면 알려고 하는데.
Excellent choice.
Let's get going.
이 막부터 시작인가 보다. 거기는. 오케이. 오늘은 짧게 여기까지. 내일 바로 챕터 2를 달려보도록 하겠습니다.